Good morning. Thank you for coming to our Know Your Rights meeting. I do appreciate you all for jumping on this Saturday. I wanted to call this meeting because our organization, a nonprofit, Asha's Refuge, of which I'm the founder of, has received so many messages, so many phone calls, and just concerns about the new administration in Washington taking place. And you are asking questions that I think everyone would want to know that may be a new coming refugee or asylee. And we have a team of people here that we worked hard this week to beg to come. They know it wasn't hard to beg them. They were very willing to help this morning. So I thank you, but I did have to get them on a Saturday. So thank you so much to all of you that are here. I want you to know that we do recognize how it can feel coming into a new country and being already a part of our community, because you as newcomers are already a part of our community. And we want to make sure that you know that we are thinking about you. That we are aware of how you may feel and what types of anxieties you may feel fleeing from your countries for your life, and now here trying to start your life anew. So as we begin, I want to briefly introduce all of our speakers today so that you have an idea of who you will be hearing. And towards the end, you all will be able to raise your hands and ask questions. But also during the meeting, you can type in the comments section and Deborah will be responding to you. If you are a Spanish speaker or Arabic speaker, other languages, please know that we are going to try to get this to you in a translated form, but stick around and see how well you can do. This is a great time for you to continue to hear the English language and to grow in that and meet new faces and people. So if you are a speaker, I please encourage you, if you are able, to let us see your face so that people can recognize you. Even if you are clients, if you're in a situation where you can let us see your face, we're trying to put faces to names. That would be wonderful. If you are in a situation where you cannot because you're driving or something like that, please don't do that. I want your safety to be our priority. You have a lot on my heart with this, and I really appreciate everyone for coming. So let me go around and share a little bit about Asha's and the kind of things going on with us. We are a nonprofit that is here eager to help those people after the 90 days of their initial resettlement processes with the resettlement agency, where we see that clients still need some guidance, still need the advocacy, and are still possibly getting acclimated in a variety of ways in our country. Many of you have worked with newcomers and know that it really does take more than 90 days. We don't even begin our green card processes for permanent residency until after a year. So that means we really need to stay connected with our clients and be there and available. I also recognize that our clients are so valuable to our city and how our clients might affect our city. We are trying to rekindle hope and dignity and confidence and give back the voice to our clients. We want them to be able to have a voice somewhere. And sometimes when you're not sure about the culture, the language, you're a little bit too shy to speak out and you're not sure of what is right socially, and it just takes time. So Asha's Refuge has become a safe place for people to feel like they can talk. I had a family, for an example, that came and visited us this week, and they were there for their green card, and it was a large family, and I recognized some of them, and I thought maybe they were connected to a previous client that I'd known for years that was in our high school program, and I did recognize some of the faces. And so when I came into the office, they were all sitting on the couch, and they were just precious, awaiting for their appointment with our civil surgeon and to start the processes for their green card with Rona in our immigration department. So I was just talking to them. They were very quiet, and it was kind of interesting because they were just so bright, and it seemed to be they were okay, but they weren't talking much. Of course, they were in an office. I think they were trying to get comfortable, but what was neat was as I started talking to the clients, somewhere in the middle of asking about their school and how things were going for them, they realized that I was the founder of Asha's. And somehow or another, over the years, 15 years, I've just gotten a name in the community as someone that's motherly, that someone is going to be an advocate, that is someone who will listen, and they don't have to be afraid. You know, clients don't have to be afraid to share with me, and they don't have to be embarrassed that their English may not be perfect, that they may get something a little confused, that I am there to really be their friend and nudge them in a positive way. So with that said, we have become a place of safety, a place of hope for many newcomers that are refugees and asylees in our city. And I am listening to them and constantly pivoting the way our organization is functioning based on what their needs are at the moment. We are partnering with Memphis Resilience at Christian Psychology Center to do some trauma-informed training sessions. We'll hear about that. We have partnered with a Ford Mobility Urban Night Transportation Project, where we are going to be doing some phases where we can offer transportation to refugees and asylees. I want you to know that you can send Alexis and our team a message if you are needing some transportation. We can try to help you with that and schedule that through this Ford Mobility Grant. And also our partners, if you know of refugees and asylees, they're having a struggle getting to appointments or something, please let us know and see if we can't help with some of that transportation while we have this ongoing transportation grant from Ford that we're so appreciative of. All right, so let me go around really quickly and announce who is here that you will be hearing from. We have Queen Kessie, and she is from the Multicultural Affairs and Foreign Affairs office at our mayor's office. Queen, if you're there, if you could just say hi, just looking around, just to say hi, wave your hand, and then we'll ask you all to speak in a moment. She'll come on in a moment.
She's here.
I'm doing that queenly wave even. See?
There she is. So when you see her, that's who she is. We'll tell you a little bit more about everybody as we go around. And then we have Gina Garcia. Gina is from Community Legal Services, and she has her DOJ accreditation. Many of you know her, and so she will share with us today. And then we have, Gina, are you around? You want to wave? Maybe you have to say something to make your picture pop up.
Hi, guys. My name is Gina.
There she goes. Thank you. Thank you, Gina. All right, then we have our immigration attorney, Will Thornton, and he is very valuable to our team, and he will be helping us answer questions and sharing as we need. So Will, if you will.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you, Will. And then we have, if he's here yet, Noel Fenderson. Noel Fenderson is a police officer from the Collierville Police Department. We do want to get more officers from our precinct, but he was willing to pop in today and help us out where he can. So Noel, if you are here yet, go ahead and wave so people can see your face.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I apologize. I can't turn on my camera, but good morning.
Thank you so much, Noel. Appreciate you being here. Okay, and then we have Miss Rona Carrillo. Rona is working in our immigration department, but she is also an asylee from Afghan and will be a great representation of some of our clients. So Rona, if you'll wave and let everybody know who you are.
Hi, everyone. This is Rona here.
Thank you. And then we've got Miss Deborah Eaton, who's our Asha's Refuge Executive Director. So Deborah, if you could wave.
Good morning, everyone. I'm glad to see you all. What a wonderful turnout we have today. And I'll be monitoring the chat. If you have any comments you'd like to make or questions, if you just go ahead and drop them in the chat. And please remember, put your email address and your name in the chat so that, well, your name will pop up. But put your email address in there so we know how to reach you, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. And then we have Joe Murphy. Joe is with Kina Solutions and his team, and they do a lot of our data. And they also, Joe particularly is an advisor to me, and he has a lot of experience working in social media, and he's helping us with that platform. This is part of his adventure, and they are helping with this particular thing we're doing now. So Joe, if you want to wave and let everybody know who you are.
Morning all, and if you see anything out there from us, please like it and send it to friends. It's just we just need to build a digital platform. That's the goal right now: advocacy and marketing.
Thank you, Joe. And if Andre Folks happens to be here, he is from our Ford Urbanite Mobility Challenge grant. He is amazing, and if you guys get to know him, you need to. Andre, if you popped in today, can you wave and say hi? Okay, and he may pop in later, and if not, he'll probably get his recording. We appreciate our Ford Urbanite grant. And then lastly, if I'm not missing anybody, is our clients. I'm not going to announce all of their names because there's so many, but our clients are here from all over the world. They have fled from natural disaster, from war, from persecution, and they are from Afghanistan. They are from Nicaragua. They're from other parts of Central America. They are from Sudan. They are from Syria. They are just from all over the place. And many of you have gotten to know them and gotten to know their families. And I just thank you so much for that. Okay, let's go ahead and go to Miss Queen, Kesa. Kesa, you'll be our, let's see, I'm going to say your last name right, Kesa. And you'll be our first speaker. And you'll wait on the talk about the City Pass towards the end, because I think that will be a nice wrap up to show how the office in Memphis, mayor's office is, like how you guys are really invested in helping us. So if you want to just share some things you know, and remind you what we're talking about is we are dealing with clients that are feeling anxious about the new administration taking place. For an example, if a police pulls them over, how should they respond? Is ICE going to suddenly, get people and take them out? Like what happens? And there's a lot of things going on in our media, and it is causing fear and a lot of anxiety for clients. So can you help us feel a little better, or what do you know that you think may help, Miss Queen?
Thank you so much, Jamie. Good morning, everyone. Just a little background. I'm originally from Ethiopia, and I've been in this country for a long time. I mean, I'll tell you, it's since 1987. I'm a U.S. citizen. I became a citizen maybe 2020, 2021, somewhere around there. But even as long as I have been here, my children who are teenagers, they're 15 and 17, specifically my daughter who's 15, asked me the other day when I was driving her to school, I heard that the new president is gonna kick out all immigrants. Are they gonna take back your citizenship and send you back? So imagine if this is what's going out into the community. And I have been here as long as I have been here, and I have to face these questions after all these years. I can only imagine for someone that has just arrived or have been here a year, 2 years, however long, or does not have their citizenship yet, or wherever you are in your process, I can see how scary that could be. And this is not my official advice. This is my sisterly advice. Stay calm. We all come here, most of us having witnessed conditions that are so much worse and life-threatening. And we did not come this far to only come this far. Just stay with that thought, first of all. And because I can't predict what will happen, but I do not, in my deepest part of my heart, I do not feel like it's going to be that bad. It really, it's the rhetoric, I'll use a simple word, just the talk, the stuff that's being sent out there is a lot worse. It's fear-mongering, really. Does this mean that, people who don't have their papers will not be deported? I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I don't know any of that. But you're here legally. You did everything that you were supposed to do to be here. You have earned your space here. You deserve to be here. And Memphis has room for all of us. And I say this on behalf of the mayor, honestly, because I had a one-on-one with him last Monday. And the mayor welcomes immigrants. He understands the value that immigrants bring to the community. It is a bonus to have immigrants in our community. We are welcomed, and he wants us to be part of the community, be involved in the community, come out. For instance, I'll tell you, there's a public event where the mayor is giving the state of the city on January 30th at 5 p.m. And I'll share the exact location. You are welcome to attend these meetings. You are welcome to come down to City Hall. And you belong in Memphis, and you are welcomed in Memphis. Jamie, did you say you want me to wait to talking about the 901 pass until later in this meeting? Or?
Thank you. Let's wait till the end. That way we can show what the city of Memphis has done for them.
Oh yeah. You know what? I realized. So if you get stopped by the police, I got stopped by the police the other day, you guys. And guess what I was doing? I was on the highway and I had my phone in my hands. Yeah, so I'm just ashamed of myself, honestly. And police drives by next to me and I have it, and I wasn't speeding. So when that light goes off, I go into panic mode, knowing everything. I just finished the Citizens Police Academy. So knowing everything that I know, my body went into panic mode. But I pulled to the side. I got off the highway. I pulled to the side. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? Do I move my hands? Do I try to get my insurance out of the glove compartment? Honestly, all these thoughts were all going at the same time. So again, me knowing everything that I know, knowing that I work for the city, knowing that I know a lot of police officers, if I went into that kind of panic, I can only imagine how the average person or a normal person who has not been here in this country, or didn't know as much as I know, I can only imagine what that would send people into. So my only advice is stop your car, pull to the side, stop your car. I'd even put your flashers on to let the police know that you're not trying to get away. You just need to get to a safe space to park. Pull over. Do not panic. Do not panic. The majority of the police officers, they're also concerned for their well-being. So they come, he was the police officer, I didn't know him. He was so respectful. And I opened the window. I didn't move my hands. I didn't do anything. I just sat in my car and I waited for him to come in. So just calm down, wait for him or her to come, roll your window down and answer the questions, whatever they ask you. Answer the questions. You don't have to say, well, you don't have to be combative. You don't have to say, what did I do? You don't have to argue. You really don't, because I didn't have to argue. I knew I was guilty. I knew I had my phone in my hands. And I just told him, I was like, honestly, I really didn't know, but I knew better. But I just got caught in the moment because that's against the law. So give them, if you have your driver's license, which I pray to God you do if you're driving, give your license number and just follow the conversation, and there's really no need to panic. And here with the, as far as I know, with the Memphis police, as long as you're not doing anything illegal, I mean, speeding, all of that is fine, but I'm not saying it's fine, but it's not, you're not committing a crime per se. They're not going to go out of their way to call ICE or immigration, even if you don't speak English. If you have the documents that they ask, then they'll treat you the way they treat everybody. You're part of the community. So just stay calm and don't be afraid of the police.
Thank you, Queen. Queen, I'm going to move on because we do have a police officer here. Let him share some of that in just a moment. But first, I just want to thank you for that, and we'll talk to you again before we close for sure. So Gina Garcia, have her up next. And Gina is a DOJ officer, if I'm saying this right, from Community Legal Services. Gina, you can share a little bit about yourself if you want to, but just mostly thinking and considering the clients that you have seen and what you hear going on, and any type of thing you feel like might be good for our clients to know from your perspective as a DOJ accredited person. Thank you.
Hi guys, my name is Gina Garcia. I work with the Community Legal Center. I am a DOJ accredited representative, meaning that I'm able to do certain immigration cases with USCIS. So when I go to ASHAs, I usually do either family petitions, green cards, or anything that has to do with like USCIS offices. Most of my clients are either asylees, refugees, or they have some type of like family petition that they would want to do for their family member. My refugees, asylees, the ones that I see are next step to do green card applications. So for you guys, I know whenever Trump was first in the administration, he said that he was going to reduce the amount of maybe refugees that were going to come into the United States. So that might happen again. He did the ban where they would do the travel ban for certain countries where you couldn't come in, or you would have to do like an extra step to come into the country. So maybe that's, you know, that's another fee that you would have to pay an attorney. There's also, they do the extreme vetting that maybe it'd make it more difficult for you to come into the United States, maybe less visas or anything like that. I feel like, well, he will be in office the 20th of this month. Once they hear about everything that he's been talking about, people going to panic, right? Understandable. You hear a lot of nonsense or a lot of crazy stuff that comes out of his mouth, but I feel like don't panic because we don't know exactly what will happen yet. We should just wait day by day to see. Again, he can't just take everything away. There's ways that he has to do it, and it takes time. Like the last time he was in presidency, he tried to take DACA. DACA's still going. We can't take new clients yet, but it's still going. You can renew it. I feel like once they hear something, maybe they read half of the information and they don't read the whole thing, and that's when they go into panic mode. And I feel like maybe just if you have an attorney or if you have any type of immigration case that you want to talk to, I feel like maybe you should talk to an attorney or someone that knows what's going on in the immigration world before you go and either start spreading crazy news or start doing something that maybe affect your case. I feel like just wait. I know you have a lot of uncertainty right now because of what he's been saying, but I feel like maybe just wait, talk to your attorney if you have one, or just get a consult with someone, maybe, you know, or if something changes, I'm sure that your attorney will be in contact with you in case it does affect your case. Always have some type, if you're a refugee or asylee, always have either a document saying that you have that type of status, right? Because if you get stopped, they will just look you up through there. You might just get a ticket and they will let you go. If you are in like court proceedings, I feel like Will would be more handleable to talk about that. But they can't just stop you and deport you. Is the type of thing that people are hearing. You do have to go through a process for you to get out of the country unless you have some type of criminal situation going on, or if you have a pending immigration history. So just keep calm, collective. And then if you do have a case with someone, just talk to that attorney. Don't just go out reading news or articles that maybe it's not in effect yet. Just keep informed. And then us as the representatives should be able to help you step by step as things change.
Gina, that was really good. Thank you for touching on all those things and thinking through the things I wouldn't necessarily have thought about. I know there is a question from clients wondering, are people going to be able to still come into the United States? You know, is that going to stop that process? What would you say to those people that ask that question?
I feel like, each administration has done things differently for people to come in. There's different ways to come in. I don't necessarily know if they're going to completely stop. There is always a way, but that's something that we don't have to look as his administration comes in and see what laws and stuff he changes.
Okay, thank you for that insight. I really appreciate you for coming today and in your time. Towards the end, we may have some questions or something can come out, but please let us know what is best to get our questions answered. I'm waiting for the clients. I can put it in the chat, and then also if it's an individual question about your case, please make an appointment with Rona, who can schedule the attorneys, and Gina as we have time on their schedule. Some of the things that you're asking may be simple for us, and we may be able to answer. So talk to Rona, and she can help guide you to the attorney as that is appropriate. Okay, thank you, Gina. So we will wrap back around with client questions. So hang out a minute if you have time. We're going to go to Attorney Will Thornton. Now, he is an immigration attorney here and has his own practice and has worked with us for a while and has grown his practice with a lot of Spanish speakers even, and he speaks Spanish. I don't know that he's going to speak to you in Spanish today, but Will, if you are still there, would love for you to chime in. Let's see if he
Hello.
is still there. Thank you, Will.
Hola. Buenos días.
Thank you. Buenos dias.
I'm going to, well, thank you for inviting me. Thank God for Asha's and for Jamie and Rona and Alexis and all the different people that participate and volunteer and work there full time. And just want to echo, everything Gina said was spot on. Those were many of the things I was going to say. So points and just listen to exactly what, as we do sort of work in a little bit of different areas. And when it comes to Asha's, there's certainly a lot of refugee clients that come through Asha's, and I don't really work with any of those, but a lot of the advice still applies. I work with mostly recent entries who are not entering as refugees. They're just entering at the border with immigration, or they have entered with no contact with immigration whatsoever, and they are those are the only people who I would call are completely undocumented. Immigration has no idea that they are here, and people entering on parole, applying for asylum. So every case is unique, but I think most of the advice applies to everyone. And I like what Queen said, and I like what Gina said, that there is a lot of talk out there, and some of it has a basis in reality, and most of it does not. So do not take things as truth, and do not spread them as truth. You're harming yourself, your family, and your community when you allow these personalities or news or TikTok folks to just grow their presence, when a lot of times that's all they're trying to do, is just get people to listen to them and get more attention for themselves. So you have to always question people's motives and the source. But please do listen to the advice on this meeting, because I think we're coming from the right place here, and I think Asha's track record speaks for itself. My advice is generally, it's not going to be as bad as you think. If you are a refugee, or if you have entered through immigration on parole, or you've been released on your own recognizance, you are not undocumented. You have been vetted. You are allowed to be here. You cannot be deported except by an immigration judge, right? You have nothing to fear. Now, obviously, don't go out and commit a crime. Let's use common sense here. Try to do your very best to obey all the rules of the road, to just use your common sense and where you're spending time and who you're spending time with. But outside of committing a serious misdemeanor, driving under the influence, committing a felony, right? I would say you have absolutely nothing to worry about. ICE simply does not have the resources, not even a fraction of the resources that they would need to carry out some of these mass deportations. It's simply absurd to me. And I can say that because Gina and I work in it every day, and we know that it's just not possible. Now, if you have a criminal record, if you are here completely undocumented, if you have prior removal orders, multiple unlawful entries, like, there may be something for you to actually worry about, and you may be a priority that ICE comes and does knock on your door. But those are really the only folks who need to say, okay, I need to make a plan. I need to change my address. I need to avoid everything at all costs because my name is on a list now. But if you have a date in immigration court, if you have a work permit, if you have something pending, I just really don't think you should live with fear. I think you should live like you belong here. I think you should keep a record of all of your activities, of everything you're doing, pay your taxes, continue to build the case that you are living responsibly and that you are not a burden on the United States. You're actually a benefit, as we all at Asha's know that you are, and we value you. But it would be even better if you could have a record of your presence to show the government, if it's necessary, that is true. Let's see. Yeah, like Gina said, keep a copy of a work permit, keep a copy of an approval notice or an I-94 or proof of know your A number, right? So that you can show, yeah, I'm in the system. There's nothing wrong. That's just smart to do. In my experience, like Queen said and Gina said, if you get pulled over by the police or you have an encounter with the police, or cooperate completely, right? They're not out to get you. They're just doing their job. And I think police at all costs are going to try to not get immigration involved. That is a lot of extra work for them. So unless you are actually demonstrating that you are a danger to other people or a danger to the community, there's absolutely nothing to worry about in my experience. They passed this big law in Tennessee that was going to change everything. And the Memphis police and Nashville police were going to be rounding up immigrants, right? That passed in July. And it changed absolutely nothing in my experience. Nothing changed. The police, they have enough to deal with on their own. They don't have time to be doing ICE's work. So don't listen to things like that. Now, it is, as I try to wrap up here and leave time, I would just say it's just smart to make a plan. Whether you're here on TPS or whether you're a permanent resident or whether you're undocumented, make a plan, right? If you have children, talk to someone who could be a guardian for your children in case anything happened. A plan for property, copy of important documents, give those to people, have emergency contact numbers, know who to contact, talk to an attorney. If you simply don't know, then get informed by someone who you trust at ASHA's or at CLC or some other community organization. Police, immigration, right, let's say someone does come to knock on your door. They don't have a right to enter your home without a warrant. So know that you don't have to open the door for anyone. My advice remains to cooperate and to be loving and to be respectful. I think that is going to benefit you more than being disrespectful. But you don't simply have to just let immigration into your home. I think it's very unlikely that they ever come knocking on your door. But if they do, right, you can ask, who's there? What do you want? Do you have a warrant? I don't have to let you in. I'm going to talk to an attorney, those sorts of things. I think those are most of the things that I wanted to cover here quickly. But again, I would just echo once more that if you have a process with immigration or you're in the court or you're a refugee, you have absolutely nothing to fear. In my opinion, nothing is going to change for you. But we'll be happy to answer more specific questions at the end. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. That was great. I really appreciate you having those key points, and it makes us all feel better already. I really do appreciate that. So we'll go around and have some more questions in a moment. I thank you for your time committed to our Osh's Refuge team and the ministry that we do, but also serving so many people that you have. We love your heart. We really appreciate your partnership. So let's move on now to Mr. Noel Fenderson. Noel, I know, is a founder of several nonprofits, My Town Movers, My Town Miracles, I believe My Town Roofing, and he can tell you more, but he is also a police officer. He may have a different title there. He can help us out at Collierville Police Department. So hopefully we're going to continue with Queen and our precinct where where Osh's is located. But you guys drive in Collierville. Sometimes you drive around all of the city in Bartlett. And I think these rules can apply. What all of the team is saying, no matter if you're in Memphis or you go to other cities and communities as you're trying to travel around the United States, this meeting and the topics that we're talking about would be beneficial for every city to know, every person, that are working with newcomers. So Noel, if you are there, we'd love for you to chime in and tell us what you think. And again, how it may feel if you're not fluent in the language and you get pulled over. Even I'm shaking. So tell me, what is the proper procedure to something like that? Because we've all seen on TV as Americans, and we've all seen our parents maybe get pulled over. So we sort of mimic what they did, but I don't think I've ever been taught, what is their real proper procedure?
Yeah, Jamie, thank you so much for having me. And my goodness, everybody that spoke before me did such an incredible job. So thank you all for what you guys said. I really can't add a lot to it. Y'all gracefully said some great things. So I'm going to keep mine pretty short and as simple as possible for you guys. Jamie, asked me to just share just quickly about what to do if you get pulled over. And I really appreciated everything that's been said so far, and just the heartbeat of, hey, it's okay to feel nervous when you get pulled over. That is completely normal. And just take a deep breath. And so just a few things when you're getting pulled over, we want you to just pull over safely. So as soon as you were to see, police vehicles lights or hear the siren, you would just signal to pull over on the right side of the road, just as safely and promptly as you can. And the next thing I would tell you is just try to remain in the vehicle. So unless, asked to get out, just stay in the vehicle, just for your safety and for the officer's safety. And then just prepare for the interaction. So roll down your window. If it is at nighttime, it would be really helpful if you maybe turned on a light in your car, and just keep your hands visible. And so, you could just keep them on the steering wheel. That would be a great, safe thing to do. And then you'll just want to have the required documentation. And so just when asked about that, so things like the vehicle registration and proof of insurance, things like that. And then again, just I can't emphasize enough what's been said so far. Just so great. Just stay calm, stay peaceful, and we're just here to serve and to protect and to enforce the law. So that is all we care about. So if you just stay calm and courteous, just keep a calm demeanor throughout the interaction, it'll be very smooth, and there's nothing to fear at all if you have this encounter. So just be peaceful, and it'll be great for you. I'm sure there'll be some questions about that, but I wanted to keep it just pretty simple and give you guys some peace of mind when dealing with the police. I hope that helps, Jamie.
Yes, it really does. Just hearing from you guys and your perspective. And you taught me something. Like, I'm always afraid, like when I see the lights or something behind me, I act like I've had a lot of speeding tickets or something. But when I see those lights, I'm like, oh no, I can't pull over. And I want to like hurry, and it makes me panic. And I feel like I'm going to get a wreck. And one time I knew I drove too far to get to like some parking lot where I suddenly felt safe. But it's okay as long as you have your signal or something indicating that you are trying to pull over. You don't have to jump and like have a wreck.
Right.
Okay. Thank you so much for that insight. Okay, so let's go around to our next speaker. That is Miss Rona. Rona Carrillo has worked with Asha's Refuge for I think a couple of years now, maybe longer. She is an asylee from Afghanistan. She will be able to give her perspective and kind of speak a little bit on behalf of what it might feel like as a client. But remember, she also serves and works in partnership with us on our team to all of our immigration attorneys. She's very helpful to them in scheduling appointments with our clients that need her. Many of you know her and love her. Rona, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Yes, that is correct, Jamie. I am from Afghanistan and I work at Asha's Refuge for almost 3 years. And thank you for the attorney Will and Gina and everyone and Miss Queen that you share your insight. And that was really helpful for me because a lot of information that I personally didn't know. Yes, and we at Asha's Refuge are the door or the first point of contact for clients who are in need of immigration processes, or if they're unsure of certain things, they come to Asha's Refuge to get those questions answered. I personally would recommend for the clients not to get the information from the community, because what I have experienced in the past few weeks that there are like wrong information are spreading in the community, and one person is sharing his or her immigration status with a person who is not even who does not have that immigration status. For example, if a person is asylee, is not similarly processed as a refugee. So if a refugee get the information from a person who is asylee, is totally different. So I have experienced this kind of information that a refugee is getting wrong information from a person who is not even a refugee. So please don't get your information from another client who have done your process in Asha's Refuge, because every person has different processes. If you have a question, do not go to any friend or family, or do not ask from a person who is not even living in the US and they are waiting on their process. So please come to Asha's Refuge. If you can talk to me, and if I don't have the information or the answer at that moment, I will definitely get the information from our attorneys and I will get back to you. Also, I would recommend for our staff member that please do not give any immigration information to the clients if you're not sure of. I personally, I don't know every single aspect of immigration processes. So it's always best to ask our attorneys first before you tell that information to the client. Also, some of our clients are coming from Afghanistan. They hold SIV visas, which is totally a process that Asha's Refuge have worked before, but it's not always been a regular process in our office. So if you face a person who is a SIV case, those SIVs are also differently processed, and they do not need to apply for a green card. Our attorneys, they already have applied for everything and processed outside the United States. And once they arrive here, they just have to wait a couple months to receive the green card. There are certain other cases such as SIJs and U visa. Those are the information that Will Thornton will be the best source of information that we should ask of. And Jamie is another source of information, because Jamie has worked with our clients for over 15 years already. So if Gina or Will Thornton are not around, please ask first Jamie, and Jamie will give you the basic information that she has. I think that's all that I had. And if me personally, I also get panicked when I see the police, because of how our clients went through traumas, because our police in our countries are not really friendly. So me coming from Afghanistan, our police always fight with us or argue or sometimes for no reason arrested some people. So those are the traumas that our clients have. And it's very important for us to recognize the traumas that our client have. And that's why the panic starts, because they are dealing with those kind of traumas. And I think it's really also important for our police officers to understand that these clients don't understand English, and they did not have these friendly police officers in their countries. So if they are panicking or doing certain movements or body languages that it's not recognized in the US or against US law, so please understand them that it's because of the trauma that is igniting that moment and they are reacting that way. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for that. And we do definitely recognize the traumas that most people have gone through, and then sometimes trauma on top of trauma, trying to resettle, and then things happen even once you're here. So we do recognize that. We are trying to work with Queen to connect to our precinct locally off of Tillman Police Department to get involved with the training academy. And hopefully we can all connect and share things and experiences directly with our police force. We are trying to continue to do these Know Your Rights meetings online like this periodically. We will have other big topics, so you guys stay tuned, be watching for those. I want to give you a little hope with an idea that the team that Queen and I have worked with, that work with a lot of newcomers and the mayor's office, have come up with. I'm going to let Queen share that. I think it's important for Gina and Noel and Will, you guys all also to know about this if you do not already. I think we're trying to spread the awareness about the City Pass. Queen, can you share really briefly, because we're running out of time and I want to give questions, open door for questions from the clients, but share with us about the City Pass. We can put the link in the notes, or we can send you the link and tell us what that's all about.
Sure. Thank you so much again. Okay, so City Pass, I got mine and I'm so proud of it. City Pass is a free program that grants Memphis residents access to all programs and special events at the City of Memphis community centers, senior centers, aquatic centers, and right now you can use it for the free admission on Tuesdays at the Memphis Zoo. It launched on 901 day, and it has your picture and date of birth on the back. It is not an ID, and we will never call it an ID. However, it will provide the benefits as well. No, it will not. The City Pass, it's an access card designed to make it easier for Memphis residents to use amenities offered by the city. Moving forward, we're working on getting more partners. It will be that in the future will also serve as your library card. And we're also hoping that once MATA, the bus service, gets its act together, we're hoping that this also can be a transportation card. We're also connecting with different restaurants and organizations to add more services, access to more services and discounts around the city. But right now, it serves with the things that I served. It's access to all of the city parks and aquatic centers, the swimming pools and so on and so forth, and the zoo. The City Passes for Memphis residents of all ages. So for little kids that can't have ID, it will serve as because it will have their picture and their date of birth. They can use it. I keep saying the word ID and I'm not supposed to. I don't know what else to call it, but you get it. I think you get it. What documents you will need? Yeah, so you will need to provide a proof of residence, such as your MLGW bill with your current address and or proof of identity. And for those of you who do not have that, like if the MLGW bill is not in your name, you can use your passport, you can use even your foreign birth certificate, you're able to use that. They're on the city website. You can just Google City Pass with the city of Memphis, and it has all the frequently asked questions list. Right now, the 3 places you can get this is at Geisman Community Center, Hickory Hill Community Center, and as of December 16th at the Benjamin Hooks Library, which is a lot more convenient for a lot of people to go to. And if you have any more questions, you can always call me. I'm going to give out my number. It's 901-602-6987. And if you're not just about this, if you have any questions especially about related to the city of Memphis, I don't know everything, but I can find out for you. Thank you.
That is great. So this City Pass, I will tell you a little bit of secrets that I do know about the City Pass. Our team really worked a lot with Queen to try to figure out how can we also help to make sure that places like MLGW, park centers, just the police officers, just other agencies that we are having to deal with might recognize that they have some sort of an ID that may look more familiar than some of these papers that are printed off of the Customs and Border, website. That's an I-94. Looks like I could make it myself. And it's kind of odd to a lot of people who don't know what that is. It does not serve as any U.S. official document at all. And that's what she's trying to say. It's not an ID of any U.S. thing. It's a little community city card that allows you a discount to a lot of things, but also in order to get that card, you have to present a lot of documentation showing that you are a resident and you're a lawfully present resident. So the types of information that it's going to check, if you will go to the City Pass website online, as Queen said, it does have a little PDF document there that will show you a list of all these documents that you could present showing that you're lawfully present as a Memphis resident. That's going to help a lot of our police force and stuff as they see this pass. They will at least have some idea that has happened, that somebody has gone through that process. They've got a legal document lawfully to be a resident in Memphis. Now, I suppose things expire. So I noticed that the City Pass didn't yet have an expiration date printed on it, which is something I would recommend, because if we're going by a work authorization or something like that, and that expires, then that way the card would not exactly be valid. So we're kind of looking at this more and more and more. But the main thing is to initially recognize they may be refugee or asylee. A lawfully present person, likely, that we as our team has really encouraged our clients to go get this pass. And so as our city begins to see the card more, hopefully it'll flag them and say, is this a refugee or asylee? Someone who has already fled, maybe traumatized, it could put something in our community's mind that possibly they are, unless we want to treat everybody like that. But we definitely want to just help our refugees and asylees who have already come through so much. So I really commend you for trying to get on that. I know for her, it is not an official document for the U.S. So that is the thing we want to make sure we claim and say. It is a city thing, but you do get some benefits. So I can't apply for it. I'm living in Olive Branch, so I have to pay full price, but it is only for Memphis residents. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Thank you, Jamie. And the expiration date idea has floated around. And as this thing is still morphing, it's only since September, right? So it hasn't even been a full year yet. And for those who in any way are concerned that this will be just a list of immigrants, this is for the entire city of Memphis, not people that moved here from somewhere else. This is for everybody. And eventually all library cards, everything is going to merge into this. So it's not a separate list that or a separate thing that we're making for this portion of the population. It's for everyone.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate that inclusion for everybody to be a part of what the city of Memphis is doing. All right, so we are a little past our time. Thank you for sticking it out. Let's allow the clients now. If you have questions, Deborah, what did you see in the questions comment area that you feel like we should talk about?
All right, our first most popular question is, how can we get this information in our own language? And I've posted in French, Spanish, and Arabic that we will be putting this out with interpretive comments on it, so that we'll have a session that you can watch again. And so we need to let everybody know that. Joe has raised his hand.
All right, Joe.
First off, thank you to Jamie. This has been a fabulous and very, very informative. Two things that came up. One of them from Queen, the journey has just begun, and the other one from Jamie, safe space. I need your help to take the safe space from the Ashes building into Memphis, into Tennessee, and into the rest of the country. I think some of these ideas here are fabulous, but we need to get the safe space outside of our building. And this meeting this morning has been fabulous on, there are avenues that we can pursue that I believe a lot of people don't know about. I emigrated here in 1976 and had some run-ins with immigration, and I'll leave it at that. So I am a little bit not anywhere near as in tune or to the extent that our clients have had, but it's a scary issue. But the biggest issue that I always had was I didn't know where I could turn. I didn't know who, and that story about a safe space. We are trying to reignite hope, dignity, and confidence. And when we do that, these people we don't want to be their voice. We want to give them back their voice, which is what Jamie said at the beginning. I think this has been a fabulous, and again, Jamie, thank you. We will get it to you as quickly as we possibly can, hopefully in as many languages as we can. We're not going to make any promises. But again, the journey has just begun, and we sometimes forget that. So when people get here, they're okay, and then we bring the next wave in. But it doesn't, as you all know, it doesn't work like that. Again, thank you.
Deborah, did you see any questions that you may have answered before on the chat that you think would be good for the group to hear?
I do not, because almost everything was about how do we get this in our language.
Perfect. Okay, again, we are planning to have this recording translated in as many languages as we are able, and then we will get it back out to you. So if you would like a recording of this, make sure that you email, text one of our staff members, one of our interpreters. That way we can be sure to get this back in your hands. Looks like Nelson has another question. Go ahead, Nelson.
Nelson, we can't hear you. I think you're still muted.
Okay.
He's asking about when he has a green card, residence, what do they need to do to go for another country, to travel, to do this?
Sure, I think that is a personal, individual question, but they do need to talk to an attorney. So let's, Rona, if you will reach out to Nelson and just book an appointment with him so we can help him go through what it would take for him to travel with the green card, okay? Everybody's different, so we need to see him personally about traveling. Yes, you should be able to travel with a green card, but we actually need to see all of your documents to make sure you got everything in, where you're going and all those kinds of things, and we can give you some tips about that individually. So definitely, Nelson, please make an appointment with Rona.
Nelson, Jamie ha hablado que cada caso es muy diferente, es individual. Entonces, cuando ustedes tengan esto de la residencia, entonces esto puede arreglar con la cita con Rona y verificar exactamente los documentos que tú tienes que salir, cuál es el país, porque cada país también tiene leyes diferentes de lo que necesita para entrar. Entonces, esto es bueno que hable personalmente con Rona para que ella pueda te contestar todas estas preguntas, ¿ok?
Ok, muchas gracias, María.
Gracias.
Will, I
Okay.
have a question for you. So a lot of our clients who came from the border and they have been in the country for over 10 to 15 years, but they never started a process with the immigration. What is the likelihood of their process if they do not have any path to get their documents situated? What is the likelihood of their situation with the new president?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think maybe that would be the group that maybe should be taking the most care at this time, as immigration knows who they are. Immigration has information about them that they got at the border. They have an address, whether it's accurate or not. They have phone numbers. And if they didn't go to court, then they probably have a removal order. And that could put them on one of the shorter priority lists. At the same time, sometimes documents never get filed with the court. There may be no removal order. There may be absolutely nothing to worry about. Maybe your case was just dismissed or thrown off the docket, or ICE lost the file. I mean, there's so many things that could have happened in the meantime. There's also relief that those people might be eligible for that they're not even aware of. So it's tough to give you much specific information because there's just so many different scenarios when it comes to those type of folks, although we talk to them all the time. And sometimes, hey, circumstances have changed and we can start a process. Other times, the advice is simply, yeah, the judge issued a removal order and this is in the system. So for that person, it would be, hey, we need to be taking a lot of care. You need to be making plans in case something happens. We need to have a process here and be ready in case something happens. But it's a little tough to get much more specific than that. That's definitely a person I would want to talk to. That's a person who is in desperate need of counsel and more information, because there's nothing worse than that person simply living in the unknown, in the fear, in the I don't know what happened, and I don't even want to know because it keeps me up at night just thinking about it, right? It's difficult because you might get some bad news, you might get some good news, but it's definitely those folks who need to find a trusted source of information right now. They may need to take steps to remedy the situation or at least protect themselves better.
Right. I think that's a great question. And I would add to it, I mean, if they could go back to their country and feel safe, if that makes sense, they could make that plan even to go back. Isn't that right? They could make a plan to go back. If they felt safe, they could make a plan to even go back and just sort of think that through. That would be something they may want to do.
Yeah, I mean, that could be part of that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If you've been in the United States this long, I'm guessing your life is here now.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing for you in your home country. All of your family is probably in the United States too at this point, most of the time. But certainly that could be part of the conversation. It's so personal and case by case, but it's something that we would love to walk through with someone and talk about and answer the questions and think about the scenarios so that they can make the best decision for them, for their family, for their future. And again, maybe there's absolutely nothing to worry about and they are worried over nothing. And it'd be so much better if they knew that.
That's true. So make an appointment with your attorney. I definitely talked to Rona. We do have attorneys that are willing to try to see you for probably a little bit lower rates and just do a consultation with you. So just talk to Rona about that. I don't want you to go to places that may charge you like $5,000 just to talk to you and not be able to do anything anyway. So you just be careful, but we are willing to try to get you on the calendar with these guys that we have trusted over the last several years. I have a couple more questions, Mahmoud.
Next, we have Mahmoud, and then we have Shop.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I just need to say thank you for this meeting. It's really very helpful for us because we have basically a lot of questions from the client. And now I just have two questions. My first one is for the people they have a green card, that they can use their passport, not the US passport or travel document. I mean, like for Syrian passport, they have a Syrian passport and they need to travel by green card to any other country. This is first one. And the other one, for the Syrian people special, they ask me this question a lot. They say, okay, now we didn't have anywhere in Syria, and they need to know if they can going to Syria, go back to visit their family in Syria, and come back here again with the green card. And they need to using the Syrian passport also. And that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mahmoud. I think that sounds like these two questions may need to go, the families may need to make an appointment with an attorney, but I will give you one question I think Will may be able to kind of answer. The way I heard him saying, if you have a passport from your country, could you use that passport to travel? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. Probably have to make an appointment with an attorney, but Will, how would you respond to that?
Well, if you don't have a passport, I definitely don't think you can go anywhere. If you have a passport that's valid, and you're not traveling back to the country you fled from, I mean, I suppose if you have your green card, you can go wherever you want. And if you have a valid passport, I don't know why you couldn't use it. It might just depend on a case-by-case basis and where you're traveling. But I mean, I would imagine your passport's still valid. I'm not really sure.
Sorry. So again, if you're a refugee or asylee, you cannot use the passport because once you travel outside of the United States, you will need to get a travel document and that will be your passport. You can still have that passport, but if you do need to travel to a neighboring country, and no, you cannot go back to your country unless you're a US citizen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Thank you, Will, for clarifying that. Again, Gina works a lot with refugees and asylees, and Will works with getting people on the asylee path and those that are not, but he and she work together to research all these immigration things going on from day to day. So they're definitely happy to meet you. That way they can do their research in the law, and the laws are constantly changing. So it really takes their diligence to look at each case. It can depend on where you are going. Like Gina said, you can't go back to your own country. I mean, to me, you can, but you're not going to be able to easily come back into the United States. So you really don't listen to me and anyone with their thoughts on some of this. We can give you some recommendations of what we've seen in the history of working with ASHAs, but every case is different and you really want to make an appointment. Also, if you do leave and don't have the appropriate documentation to come back into the United States, that's what can get you stuck also. You may be able to go and nothing would be said and your travel document can happen, but if you don't have the right document to get back into the United States, that's where we also want an attorney to evaluate that so that you're not stuck outside the United States if you're planning to return. Okay, Jacques, did you have a question?
No.
Okay, got your hand up. Okay, no more questions? Any questions? I guess I want to reiterate one last thing, Will and Gina, with you. There are people here that are waiting for family reunification. They are so hopeful that they will be able to still come. And we know that depending on the Congress's changes with the new administration, if there is a reduction in how many refugees, asylees, or just immigrants can come into the United States, it could slow down. But I don't think that our clients should be anxious that this word never, there's a ban. I think a long time ago with the Syrians, 2015 actually, there was a journalist that said the Syrians were banned. And then that word sort of got around all the media about a ban. And it caused a lot of fear. And I don't really feel like it was a ban, but yet a pause, if I could rephrase it. It's a pause to regroup our processes with Customs and Border, to retrain people who are having to work in the areas of Syrian immigration. Because if you are working, it's only a handful of individuals trained in immigration departments, and all of a sudden a war breaks out, natural disaster happens, and instead of having a few people trickle out of your country occasionally wanting to visit or something, have 1 million people exiting on the same day. You are not prepared to handle 1 million people with staff. And there are new rules and regulations as war and things happen for each country to try to maintain order and to try to maintain the safety of their own country. So I think sometimes things slow down. Some things kind of have to wait until new administration is there. But as Gina said earlier, I think I heard her say there's always some other paths you could look into that you may not know about. It doesn't mean you would, be eligible for all of them, but you could be. So it's a good idea to talk to an immigration attorney. Would you have any response back on that, Gina?
Are you talking about like the ban that happened, or like lower amount of refugees that they're going to let in?
Yeah, not really the ban that happened, but just being careful with those kinds of words and phrases, because it kind of puts a oh no, they're never coming, and it happens.
No, I mean, even now, whenever you do the family reunification, it does take a bit because they're so busy with how many applications they have going on. Even whenever the pandemic happened, everything slowed down because not all the consulates were working. So, and not all consulates are working now. So you have to choose. You're basically shopping around consulates at this point because not all do the same. So I don't think they should panic and say, oh, it's going to stop. No, I think it's just going to probably slower down. Maybe not a lot of applications are probably going to get through. It was whenever his first term happened. He tried to indicate a lot of things, but not necessarily they did happen. And then whenever a new administration came in, everything kind of went back to normal. So it's a process even now. So I don't think you should panic and say, oh no, it's going to stop.
Thank you for that. I think that brings a little comfort to those individuals concerned about their family reunifying. And the last question I think I want to go with, unless somebody else has just a pressing question, would be the fact that there are individuals that are at work, and sometimes we have problems at HR departments with the hiring and letting go of people that actually have the documents that they're supposed to have. And we know to have, we have you guys and, there with us to support them and help us make those calls. But I will also make calls to the Justice Department. I have done that, and they are great to help us unlock the situations going on at large companies that may not understand that refugees and asylees are authorized to work. So, but from you, if an employer were to say, to one of our refugees and asylees that we know that are legal and lawfully here, that they are not allowed to work all of a sudden, or if there is any fear around the workforce for immigrants, is there any advice you might give in that area, or any thoughts on that?
Every employer, I believe now, should be doing e-verification. So with those documents, they should verify that if either you're a refugee or asylee, that's a status that you will have unless you become a green card holder, or unless they take that status away. They should always do that. But if that employer, because a lot of people don't know the different types of statuses, they can either contact, that attorney, and that attorney could explain to them what it is that status is or what it means, and they're lawfully able to work. Because again, maybe they don't have the work permit because it's expired, but the I-94 on there says that your status will be that status unless you become either a green card or a citizenship holder. So yes, they should always do the E-Verify, and on there, they should know that they are able to work even if they don't have that employment authorization card.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, we've used all of our time and then some. I want to thank you all for attending this meeting. Thank you to our stakeholders. Thank you for our staff and volunteers, supporters. And thank you so much to you clients for showing up today. It doesn't mean the same thing for us to look at each other and have this meeting as people that are trying to help and be a part of an advocate. And we want to give you a voice. And there are other topics that you are asking questions about. Please be watching for future Know Your Rights meetings and things like that Asha's Refuge does, because we will need you there and we will need your input, and some of you may be speaking. If you are willing, if you've got a topic that you feel like is something that would be valuable for us to bring to one of these meetings, please let us know. And I would say that to all of our stakeholders here, if you know there's a topic that you're getting a lot from our clients that it might be good for us to pull a group together to do something like this that you could later share, please don't hesitate. We can partner in some way to make that happen. So thank you so much. I will pray for you all, and God bless. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Jamie.